So a couple last topics I'm going to mention here for section 1.3. The first one is when estimating, there are two different names for what you're doing depending on where you estimate. One is interpolation and the other is extrapolation. So let's take a look at an example here. We have anywhere from 3 to 17 puppies in our data set. So that means we can make a pretty good prediction based on a good fitting line like we have and something in between. So let's say we want to know how many happy children would we have if we had 13 people, for example. We want to know about 13 people, how many happy children. So what we would do is we would find 13 here on the x-axis, and we would go up all the way to our line of best fit. And wherever that line falls, that's going to be our prediction. Now this gives us a good estimate, and we can look over here at our y-axis to figure it out, but a more precise way to do the exact same thing we just did here is to use the actual equation of our line of best fit. So if we have y equals 0.912x plus 4.247, then we would take that 13 and plug it in for x. So we'd have y equals 0.912 times 13 plus our y-intercept, and that's going to get us an answer of 16.103. So that means that we would predict that when we have 13 puppies, that we'll have just over 16 happy children. Now, because we used a value of x that was between the max and min that we were given, we're going to say that we used interpolation. So we used our best fit line to predict the y value, and the x value fell between the max and min. So it was within the range of the data that we have. Now let's do something else. We want to know, what about if we had 20 puppies? Well, 20 is not between our max and min, so this is going to be called, when we find for 20, it's going to be called extrapolation. And whenever you're using interpolation, you can usually feel pretty confident about your guess. However, when you use extrapolation, depending on how far away you go from the data you have, it's very possible that the trend is going to change because you don't have any data to show that. What if the trend after this flatlined out? There's no way really to know that because you don't have any data out here. So whenever you're using extrapolation, you have to be very careful. Interpolation usually is a much safer thing to do. So this estimate for 13, we can feel reasonably confident in that. Our estimate that we do for 20, we have to be a little bit more cautious about. But let's go ahead and make a calculation to see what it ends up being. Extended my line of best fit here, and if we go 3 units over to 20, we're going to be looking at something around there. So let's do our calculation. Using our best fit line, y equals 0.912 times 20, because x is now equal to 20, we said, plus our y-intercept. And that's going to get us an answer of 22.487. So our estimate now is 22.487. We have to be careful. Again, because we use extrapolation, we don't know that this line is going to continue to do that. It could actually do something very crazy, and we just won't ever know. So use caution when you're making estimates outside of the range of your data, especially if it's very far away. Now here we were fairly close, but if we were very far away, it would become increasingly dangerous to make this estimate. But around 22.5 happy children is what we expect when we have 20 puppies. Last thing I'm going to show you is if you're having calculator problems and you don't have all these values on your screen when we did our linear regression earlier, I want to show you how to enable that. So some people might not have the r squared and the r showing up on the screen. If that is the case for you, this is a one-time fix that you'll need to do. Go to second and go to 0, which is your catalog. Hit the D key to speed things up so you can get closer to where you need to be, and we're looking for a function called diagnostic on. So let's go ahead and scroll down. We have diagnostic on. You hit enter, and then you hit enter one more time. And now next time you go to stat, you go to calc, and you go to your linear regression, it should pop up with all 4 of those values for you.